Live in Winnipeg. Welcome to PstPtv. Today we're interviewing Brittany McLeod, a photographer from Winnipeg that will be exhibited at the Frame Gallery on 318 Ross on May 11th. Hi Brittany.
Hi.
So how are you?
Alright. Kind of lost my voice, so bear with me.
Okay.
Who's watching this?
So how did you get into photography?
Actually, it was a couple of years ago. I mean, I've always been interested in art. My family been big artists. My mother is a painter, but then my sisters are painters. I was the only one who couldn't paint, so it was the next best thing to kind of, you know, portray my feelings and get them out there. I picked up a camera.
Ah, so that wasn't your first choice of job or anything then?
Not so much. When I was a little girl, I mean, I always played around with the camera, of course, and I painted and I drew, but I was always intimidated by what my sisters, like I have a twin sister, and she's just amazing. So, like, I'm going to be awesome at something myself, and I picked up a camera. And then I went to school at Prairie View School of Photography, and it taught me all these different mediums of photography. Isn't just a digital camera. You can do film, there's 120 film, all these different formats and techniques that people don't understand when it comes to photography anymore. They think it's just using digital, but then...
Like Photoshop and so on.
Like Photoshop and stuff. Which is alright, I guess, but I mean, to be able to do all these different things in photography, I started to see it as an art and a way to express myself. So, and I love shooting in film, which I feel is a little bit more hands-on now. Kind of almost feels like I'm painting.
Okay.
Amazing.
Do you think that Photoshop almost ruins the art in photography?
No, it definitely enhances it if you know how to use it right, but there's a lot of people out there who just pick up a camera and then they take a really shoddy ass photograph and they stick it into Photoshop to make it better. I like to use Photoshop to enhance my images. I would rather conduct a photograph laid out right in front of me than take it and then, like, if the lighting's a bit off, I'll like boost it up in Photoshop. But no, I mean, to each their own, of course. Any way that you can express yourself.
And where did you take your course?
At Prairie View School of Photography. It's just down in the exchange there, and that's where I learned a lot of darkroom uses, and that's when I really fell in love with photography. It was about 2009. Like, wow, I can actually like make a career and like a life out of this.
I think you mentioned that you were going back for your master's?
Yeah, I wanted to go to my master's in fine art, but I have an undergrad degree in environmental science, but then when I started photographing, I kind of completely scrapped that and went into photography, and now I realize like my calling is art. But I am going to journalism school as well, the Red River College, or trying to get in there. I'm pretty sure I'll be accepted.
Nice. Nice.
But,
to do actual interviews or
to do interviews, to work for the news. Like, I really want to get into writing as well, and that kind of, I feel, goes back to my environmental science degree. I just want to talk about certain issues that are important to me and important to like my people. I have Aboriginal and Jamaican ancestry, so I really want to.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's why I look like this.
How did that happen?
That's my mom.
Actually, maybe we don't want to know how that happened.
No. Black men are crazy.
That's funny. Anyway, so do you feel that you have a certain style or approach?
I do. One thing about me that I've noticed compared to a lot of other artists, I will shoot tons and tons, and then I won't do anything for a while. I kind of need to be in the right mood, in the right atmosphere to do it, especially like I was talking about winter. I got super depressed this winter because I didn't photograph anything, and that's because I wasn't doing my art and I wasn't getting out there using my camera or anything that I learned. And a lot of artists, I know they can like just paint and paint and paint or sculpt and sculpt and sculpt, but me, like, I will do stuff or like really get into it. Then I won't do anything at all. and then I'll get really, really into it again, and I won't do anything at all. It's because my mind, I have to be inspired, I suppose.
Yeah, I was gonna say is what inspires you in general?
Life inspires me. That's another reason why I'm going back to get my journalism degree, is just to write about life. Anything from like, you know, a dead leaf on the ground to like a bum in the corner.
Would you rather do interviews for the news, or would you do documentaries more,
I would love to do documentaries. I'm from northern Manitoba, so ultimately that's where I'd like to go back up.
Oh, really?
And when I talk about my people, I guess I mean like my Aboriginal ancestors I want to portray, and I know it's been done, but not done for me. So I kind of want to portray and write about them and photograph them.
Which aspect of them do you want to show that hasn't been shown yet? Or?
Everybody thinks about Native people that they're, especially in the city of Winnipeg, I never noticed a lot of Aboriginal racism. Here everyone thinks that they're just drunks, that they just hang out the side of Portage and like beg for money. And I mean, there is that aspect of what happened to them in the reservation schools. Like there's a lot of poverty and backgoing economic issues, but I walked down the aisle with my friend Christina Frank, who's Native, and her mother, and was like a psychologist. I know Aboriginal people who are doctors, lawyers, and that's one thing that a lot of people don't see in in that culture, and that's exactly why I want to become a journalist, become a photographer, to portray that, as well as through my art too. I want to point out things that is there. Sorry, myself. That is there that people don't see, or they don't want to see. They just want to see the bad side, and I guess that's what makes art interesting.
You think there's a difference between the countryside and the city?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have a lot of friends from the country, but it's all stereotypes. It's not anybody's fault. That's just the way our culture is. Like, it's just all of our fault, I feel. But
that's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a really good point. Everyone seems to like put the finger at each other, and it's like, well, why not take credit?
Take credit,
credit.
Focus on the negative.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
Like I've been a culprit of it too. I've, you know, had bums come up to me and like ask for money, and be like, whoa, fuck off.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
I think I get asked 5-6 times on the way to work, and it's right across the bridge.
Yeah, exactly. And like, it's not their fault. It's not our fault. It's not per se the government's fault. It's just society's fault in general.
People keep sidestepping the issue though, like they'll point fingers and then they sidestep, and no one's coming up with a solution. Everybody's angry and pointing at each other. So it'd be great through art and through documentation, journalism to actually bring the story.
Do all these different things and kind of put it into one.
That's awesome.
Wonderful. Are there any specific place that you would like your work shown?
I mean, everybody dreams about being in that huge art gallery, the Winnipeg Art Gallery. I would love to. I'd also, one of my ultimate dreams would be to work for National Geographic.
Oh, that's a good one.
But down in Washington, I've looked into that already, but I have no interest in going to the United States.
Very good. What about traveling the world?
Traveling the world would be amazing. I'm more interested in going to South America, especially just because there's a lot of indigenous people down there too that I would love to interview. I'm just really interested in rich culture, and I feel South America is just a whole continent full of rich culture that not a lot of people go to. Beautiful countryside, and it's hot too.
Yeah, a lot warmer than Winnipeg.
Yeah, and Europe is beautiful too, but I just know so many people that have gone there. I want to go to another place that nobody's been to and write and photograph.
Have you had a defining moment in photography, a time, a place, or capturing a photo that really stood out for you?
I guess every time I photograph, I always have something about each photograph that I do, each film strip that I take, each like digital shot that I compose that always has a defining moment. Like, I don't shoot anything unless I feel it's worthy to. And that's another reason why I shoot for a long time and then I just don't do anything. I would have to say my very first art show that I did was actually when I first met you.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm glad. We were first.
Yeah, we were first.
That's awesome.
What show was that?
Was it the
red, white,
Red.
yeah,
Rated red.
Red,
Yeah.
yeah.
and you know I don't even remember those photographs that I shot.
Uh,
These weren't
no,
them.
no, these
No,
weren't there.
they're
They
Zoom
were-
frames.
'cause I know you had incorporated your body into the picture itself.
Right.
It was
No, that was nature versus
human
Human
nature.
nature.
Human
Yes,
nature, yeah.
that's right.
those ones like.
Check out our website to see it.
Prosper Productions.
Yeah, PstPtv.com.
Yeah, I barely remember those photographs, but I just remember the process of me shooting them because it was my body incorporated with nature and trees. And all these trees that I found were around the city, and I'd taken so many photographs of like trees. I know it's been done, but to incorporate myself into them, I remember more of the process, not like the ending result. That was a really defining moment, and to have them displayed and people see them, and a lot of people actually did like them. And like the whole write-up too that I did with them, it took me a long time to write that, even though it was only like 6 sentences long. Like, what do I want people to know about me, especially for my first art show?
Mm-hmm. That was awesome.
Yeah, and I had fun.
So you've been to many other art shows and
I've had maybe about 4 or 5. I've also shot a lot of like bands because like I need to be
yeah.
A lot of bands. I've done a lot of interviews and stuff too.
You shot us before too.
Shot you guys.
That was good. Good
Yeah,
photo session.
shot like for the Red, White, and Black exhibit too. And that one, that art show was actually a really defining moment for me too, because that was the first time I had seen. They had done that whole visual act of physical abuse against women.
Oh, with Jacobus.
With Jacobus.
Oh,
Great show.
And
Great show.
Amber Wood.
Yes.
Was that her name?
Very well good put together production.
Yeah, that was great. And just photographing it, like I had to follow them around in the entire scene that they're acting out, and I felt like I was part of the show, and just to capture that on my camera was a really defining moment to me too.
Yeah, that was a really good show. I have to admit. We're actually going to do another collaboration with for the same thing fundraiser for the Dream Room project in June, upcoming. Yes.
Okay, well I will definitely be there for sure.
Awesome.
That was great.
And is there, so there's no picture in general that really, that if you had to pick one?
I have this one photograph of my grandmother. It's like, it's not arty whatsoever. I didn't really compose it. It was just happened to be a snapshot that I photographed of her cooking Thanksgiving dinner. And what really captured me about it was I was raised by my grandmother. She came and like found me and my twin sister and like adopted us. And I never really appreciated it until I actually looked at this photograph and saw like the love and care in her eyes, even though she looked really, really mad at the same time. But you know, she was, the photograph is her cooking us like this Thanksgiving dinner. And just for a woman like her, she was in her 40s when she came and found like, me and my sister and like raised us. And looking at this picture of her just being herself and doing what she does, like she's a crazy Jamaican woman, I'll let you know that. But she took so much care, and the photograph was a black and white image, and it just really accented her eyes, like these caring eyes, and like just her whole natural surroundings. I really like natural photographs like that.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, what do you like to do aside from photography?
I like to draw, I like to paint. I'm not very good at it though. In my personal time, I just read, hang out. You know, I'm just a regular person, like riding my bike, checking out new spots.
Bike riding, yeah.
Yeah.
Cycle power.
Would you ever move somewhere else to?
I want to move to South America.
Really?
Yeah. Peru, Brazil would be absolutely amazing. I'm really into culture. I would like to go back to Jamaica eventually, but...
Have you ever been?
Oh yeah, I've been there a couple of times.
How is it? I'm planning a trip, so...
Are you? Alright, well, I never went to the tourist area, so I always lived, like I have lots of aunts and uncles and cousins down there, so I was always with just family down there. So and it's a whole different world compared to the tourist area. It's quite a dangerous country, so, but beautiful.
Really, eh? So aside from university, do you have any future project?
Future projects would be to go to school. Right now I have been looking at a bunch of festivals that I want to photograph. I'm really looking into getting like a lot of my work out there. I just kind of wait until things come to me. I don't really go out and search. That's because I just like to photograph and go along, chug along, and something comes up, then for sure I will participate, like in your show, in your festival, whatever you want. It's all a love to me. I'm not like out there just to be like popular.
That's great. You know what? We need more of that. Passionate artists that are there for the love of the art or the medium.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And that's what I feel like a true artist is. You're talking about your friend Fabiola, who does all these different mediums of art, and she sounds like a true artist, that she's just doing it because she likes it.
Yeah, and life is like a playground for her. She'll pick up different, you know, different things, and we're all like that too. We're all multi-artists, and
in art, it's hard. It's a hard profession to get into in the first place.
It is.
And you would make a name for yourself. What do you think is lacking in that sense?
Well, right now I feel that there are so many great artists out there that's why it's hard to make a name for yourself. And there's also a lot of, I mean, I don't want to put anyone down, but there's a lot of those fake artists out there who just think, especially when it comes back to Prairie View, just think they can grab a camera and like, oh, I'm a photographer now, even though I don't know anything about like what kind of lens I'm using, don't know anything about my camera, don't know how to use the darkroom, don't know how to use the light for a photograph, and like, that's what I feel is really hard now to make yourself stand out, because there are all these programs out there that you can take a picture.
We'll do the job for you.
Yeah, we'll do it for
carry
you.
a camera around more like an accessory than an actual tool. It's like a status.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I mean,
when you look at a
the difference
picture
between amateurs and professionals.
Well, yeah, exactly. So can you, by looking at a picture, see the difference between somebody else?
Yeah, I definitely can, especially like when it comes to lighting, when it comes to lens uses. Like, I know what a telephoto lens is used for, I know what a wide angle lens, 2.8mm lens, I understand the whole dynamics behind using a lens like that. It is an art, and there are technicalities, just like painting. Like, you use a different brush for a certain stroke, you use a different lens for a certain quality of photograph.
Yeah, and same with colors and painting.
Yeah, exactly.
And painting and drawing, for example, is totally different too.
Yeah, and that's too, like, you have to remember at all times as a photographer, light is your most important feature in a photograph, because your light can be used to point out a certain image, call it like chiaroscuro, as well. It can like create mood, like dark light, you know, it gives it a feeling of a dark mood of sadness and
nostalgia.
Yeah, exactly. So
I was gonna say, yeah, if you want to, do you want to talk a little bit about?
You want.
I've been curious about the hand picture. I really like that one a lot.
Well, this is one photograph from a whole bunch of series of images that I did with the hands. I just really like. It was the shadow that I had really liked in the photographs, and the use of hands as an art form. I mean, they're things that we use every day, but you can also make them. Like,
put them into a context.
And yeah, these were two friends of mine, and I was just telling them, like, you know, just throw your hands together. We weren't anywhere special, we were just in my apartment, and the lighting just happened to be right. This is actually a digital copy of a darkroom print.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make it bigger. I was kind of in a rush, but it turned out nice. It turned out well.
And I remember you told me that this one you took through a window, through another window.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, this is actually an old barn, and I was just walking by and seeing this, like, majestic tree.
No doubt, that's a really stunning tree.
Yeah, it was huge. Like, when I actually went up to it, I was like, oh my god. It was huge, because it's actually quite off in the distance. This, again, is a digital print of a film strip. I had scanned them in there. Yeah, I just really like the idea of having a layered photograph. It's like a frame within a frame. So I took that, and it turned out really well.
And it's also pretty cool that, I don't know, you probably didn't mean to, but but it's a tree and it's all wood around it.
Yeah, actually that was one of the things that another friend of mine had actually mentioned, like, oh, it's framed by wood.
Oh, I see something. I'm not totally crazy. Other people think the same. All right.
And yeah, this one in particular, I had really enjoyed doing it. It was just, I really like working with the human body, just the form and the shapes and the shadows that it can do.
And when you're in a casual environment, you don't plan it, it just kind of happens just the right way, like you're saying, the light is just right,
Yeah.
people are there, the happy accidents a lot of the time, like some of the best stuff has come out of when you're not planning it.
Yeah, like candid photos, that's exactly like what I was talking about with my grandmother, the photograph I took with her. That was just a candid shot and it meant so much. I was like, holy crap.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I love film too. Is you never know what you're gonna get until you develop it. Then it's like, man.
Sometimes it's frustrating because you develop it and there's nothing good or something.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I have to redo it all.
That's happened to me. I've photographed like rolls and rolls of film, and I only get one out of like 300.
Oh, wow.
But that one that you get, it's worth it.
And those are the ones you want out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's really hard sometimes to catch the right moment, I guess.
It can be frustrating.
So, like we mentioned earlier, she's going to be exhibited at a cafe downtown in May and June. As well, May 11th, we have an exhibit at the gallery called The Death of OL'Man Winter. So be there. And do you know what? Yes. Do you know what you're going to be bringing? Or?
I have ideas. Like I said, I really am really fascinated with mirrors right now. So I'm going to be doing a lot of photographs with mirrors in different layers. You won't be able to actually see the mirror in it. It'll just be like mirror, mirror, and I'll stick a camera. So no.
Oh, I'm looking forward to see it.
It'll be good. It'll be good. And I'm planning on doing it all in film again. I really like working with film.
What do you mean by film? Like an actual film?
Oh, film camera. Yeah, and then I'll develop the film myself. I'll develop the photographs myself.
They still sell those.
They still do them. Yeah.
They still.
It's just like tube amps, you know, like the old style tube amps are like analog rather than digital, you know.
Yeah,
analog. Like the hands-on old way. I think there's something to be said about that.
Yeah, and it's popular still, especially among like younger photographers. It's really coming back.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good.
What's the difference?
Between analog and digital? Well, analog is working with the film, and digital is just, you know, taking a camera. That's a digital camera.
So you like the hands-on of actually
I like the
developing
hands-on. Yeah, I feel like I have a little bit more to do with the process. It feels like it's more of an art to me. Like I was saying, painting. It feels like I'm painting a photograph when I use film, because then I can change the lighting. I can choose the f-stop that I want it to be developed on. I could choose like my type of paper, whereas if I was to print it out, like this is just, I think it's the silver bond paper. I mean, you can't really do that. Well, you can, if you got the money. Yeah.
Not cheap.
Not cheap, but I really do like working with film.
I always wondered, when you develop your film yourself, do you have a choice of size, or is it standard?
Yeah, there's a standard format, but I mean, once you start to know the film and the grain, there's different grains of film. There's different measures of light you can use. I actually have this photograph in film that I printed, and it's like different shades, because you can affect that light in the shadow.
Oh, okay.
So, like, yeah, different exposures, different apertures that you could use in the film, as well as with you know, you can do solarization, different techniques to make a photograph to print. It's like painting.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being with us today, and we'll see each other later.